Overtaking in Formula One looks simple. One car gets close, it picks a side, and boom, the move is done. But here's the truth. Passing in F1 is one of the trickiest things to get right, because if you do it the wrong way, even by a little, you can get a big penalty, or worse, cause a crash. That's why F1 has a whole rulebook just for overtaking. So, how do you pass in F1? Isn't that the whole reason for the sport? Thinking about rules, DRS zones, too many flags, all different meanings, and track limits. While on top speed, drivers have to think faster than the speed of light, because in Formula One, an overtake can win you a race, but a bad one can end it in one move. Let's get into it. DRS, the legal speed boost. Let's start with one of the most famous tools for overtaking in Formula One, DRS. It stands for Drag Reduction System. But don't worry, you don't need to remember the name. Here's what matters. DRS is a special button drivers can press to make their car go faster on straights. It works by opening a flap on the rear wing. When that flap opens, the car creates less drag, and that means more speed. Dope, right? Sadly, you can't just press it whenever you want. Specific rules guide the DRS button. To make use of that nitro energy, you need to be within 1 second of the car in front. You can only use it in certain parts of the track, called DRS zones, and it's turned off during the first few laps of a race, during safety cars, or when the track is too wet. If you meet all the conditions, bam, DRS is your best friend. It gives you a boost down the straight, so you can line up a pass before the next corner. But here's the fun part. Sometimes the DRS zone is so powerful, the car behind actually has the advantage. So drivers play mind games, slowing down a little to be second, just to get DRS and slingshot past on the next straight. Flags, when overtaking is not allowed. In Formula One, flags aren't just decoration. They're warning signs, like traffic lights, but faster and way more serious. And when it comes to overtaking, some flags mean don't even think about it. Let's break them down. Blue flag. This one's simple. If you're being lapped, meaning the leaders are coming around to pass you, and you see a blue flag, you must let them through. No blocking, no fighting. Ignore it, and you get a penalty. Single yellow flag. This means something's gone wrong. Maybe a crash, a car stopped on track, or some debris. Drivers have to slow down and no overtaking allowed, unless it's absolutely necessary, like if the car ahead is crawling with damage. So when you see a yellow flag, take it easy. Double yellow flags. Now it's serious. This means big danger. Marshals might be on the track, or a car is blocking the road. You need to be ready to stop if needed. And yes, absolutely zero overtaking. No excuses. Mess this up, and the stewards will come knocking. Red flag. This is the emergency brake. If the red flag comes out, the session is stopped completely. Drivers must slow down, return to the pits, and no overtaking at all. The race might restart later, or it might not. Checkered flag. The race is over. Once this flag waves, that's it. No more position battles, no more last lap lunges. Even if someone crosses the line slightly ahead after this flag, it doesn't count. If you overtake in the wrong way after the checkered flag, you can still be penalized. So yeah, once it drops, keep it clean. Safety car and virtual safety car, the pace reset button. In Formula One, chaos can strike at any moment. A crash, a storm, a piece of wing on the racing line. When things get too dangerous for full-speed racing, the safety car or virtual safety car steps in. Both do the same thing. They slow everyone down. But how they do it and how it affects overtaking is totally different. The safety car. This is the one you've seen on track. A real car, usually a silver AMG or Aston Martin with flashing lights. When the safety car is deployed, all cars must slow down and follow the SC in order. No overtaking allowed, not even if the car ahead is slower or has a problem. You have to stay behind until race control says otherwise. Here's the key rule. You can't overtake until you've passed the control line after the safety car pulls in. Try to jump early? That's a penalty. No questions asked. Virtual safety car. This one's digital, no physical car on track. When the VSC is activated, every driver must slow down to a fixed delta time, a minimum pace controlled by onboard software. No overtaking, unless the car ahead has a mechanical problem and is clearly slower. You'll see VSC signs flash on the track and on your dashboard. It's like a global speed limit for a few laps. Then racing resumes with a green flag. VSC is usually used for quick cleanups, like when marshals need to grab debris off the track but don't need a full safety car. So why do these rules matter? Because under both SC and VSC, track position freezes. No cheeky lunges, no overtakes. If you make a move too early or drive too fast, the stewards will catch you and you'll likely get a time penalty or penalty points. Simple rule? Follow the rules until the green flag, or you'll pay the price. Track limits and gaining an advantage. Stay inside the lines. In Formula One, the white line isn't just paint, it's the law. Every track has a defined boundary, usually marked by a white line on each side. If all four wheels go over that line, you're off track. But here's the big question. What if going off track helps you? That's where the gaining an advantage rule kicks in, the golden rule. If you leave the track and gain a position or keep a position or set a faster lap time, you must give it back right away. Fail to do that? Stewards will hit you with a time penalty. How it works. Let's say you go wide at turn 1 and pass someone by cutting the corner. You might need to give the place back or slow down enough to lose the advantage. If you don't, that's a slam dunk penalty. Same in qualifying. Run wide and set a fast lap, your lap gets deleted. No second chances. It could be tricky. Not every off-track moment is the same. Sometimes you leave the track to avoid a crash. Other times it's unclear if you actually gained an advantage. That's why the stewards review every incident. They check. Was the move avoidable? Was the off-track trip faster? Could the driver have made the move inside the lines? It's not always black and white. But if you're gaining by going off, the rules say that's not racing. That's just cheating. Racing conduct. What makes an overtake legal? In Formula One, it's not just about making the pass. It's about making it the right way. Because if you're too aggressive, too messy, or too late, that overtake could cost you the race. So how do stewards decide what's fair? Let's break it down. The key rule: fully under control. Every overtake must be controlled into the corner, safe through the apex, and clean on the exit. That's what the FIA calls a fully controlled maneuver. If a driver dives in wild and out of control, even if they get ahead, that move is illegal. Room to race. When is the car in front supposed to leave space? That depends on the kind of overtake. Inside pass. If your front wheels are at least alongside by the apex, the other driver must leave room. Outside pass? You must be clearly ahead at the apex to earn space on exit. Why the difference? Because outside moves are riskier, so you have to earn that racing line. What do stewards look for? Every time there's contact or a close call, they check. Who had the racing line? Who was ahead at the apex? Was there room? Did someone force another car off the track? Even if there's no crash, a bad move can get you a warning, penalty points, or worse. Time penalty F1 is tight and fast, but there's still a code of conduct. Overtaking in the pit lane. What's allowed? Think pit stops are just about tire changes? Think again, because sometimes the race is won or lost right there in the pits. Yes, overtaking can happen here too, but it's tightly controlled. There's a common myth. You can't overtake in the pit lane. That's so not true. You can gain or lose position during a stop. Here's how. If your stop is faster, if your pit box is further down the lane, or if another team messes up, you might come out ahead. What you can't do is create danger. Unsafe release equals instant trouble. This is the big rule. You can't leave your pit box if doing so risks a collision. If your team releases you straight into another car's path, that's an unsafe release. Even if there's no crash, stewards can hand out 5-second or 10-second penalties. time added after the race, or even fines for the team, because pit lanes are tight, busy, and full of people. One bad release equals disaster, speed limits, and safety. There's one more thing. In the pit lane, speed limiters are active. That means every car is locked at the same max speed, usually 80 kilometers per hour, or 60 in some races. So actual racing in the pits? Not happening. But position changes? Totally fair game, if it's done safely. Special cases and exceptions, the gray zone. Sometimes overtaking gets messy, and the normal rules don't apply, like overtaking after the checkered flag. Once that flag waves, the race is over. If a driver makes a pass after that point, even by accident, they risk a penalty. No moves allowed, no exceptions. Same with red flags. When a session is stopped, drivers must freeze position and return to the pits. Overtaking during this phase? Instant penalty. Now, what about safety cars? Lapped cars are sometimes told to unlap themselves so they don't block the front runners, but that's only allowed when race control gives the signal. Until then, no overtaking. And when they do unlap, they must go to the back of the line. There's also a rule for overtaking broken or slow cars. If a car is clearly retiring, like limping with damage, it's okay to pass, even if overtaking is usually banned. But it must be obvious. If not, it's seen as illegal. In these edge cases, stewards look at the context. Safety first, rules second. And that can change everything in a blink. Overtaking, explained. So now you know, overtaking in F1 isn't just about bravery and speed. It's about rules, lots of them. From DRS zones and yellow flags to pit lane releases and racing line control, every pass you see is judged by more than just what happens on screen. The stewards are watching, the sensors are tracking. And the rulebook? It's thick. But here's the fun part. When a driver pulls off a clean, legal overtake under pressure, it's magic. That's the heart of Formula One. So the next time you see someone dive bomb into turn 1 or slip past with DRS, you'll know exactly what made it legal or risky. Got more F1 rules you want explained? Drop it in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because in Formula One, even the rules race to keep up.